All right. Now we gotta get this situated over here. Oh my god, it's gonna be so flippin' hot out here. Gotta wait for this to connect. Not now. Is it hot out there in YouTube land? It's hot here. Can I just go to my channel? View channel. Trying to get the chat over here. You know, because we can. Oh, tap the retry. Worked the last time we did this. Here we go. Thursday turnings. Let's see if we pop up. My god, the delay is killing me. All right, where did I put that tool? And we can get our drink in. All right, yeah, that's not too bad. All right, so first things first on this project, up to here. Didn't want to have to do this. This little black walnut bowl we're going to work on is going to be a little bit smaller than originally planned. No problem with that. I don't even know if I had recorded anything on this video here. I have no vision into that over there, which means we'll have to move the live stream camera. Of course, my stream froze. I don't know if you guys froze or not. There we go. God, these things are anchored in there. Okay, those are solid. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. This shirt might be dark gray by the time we're done. All right. I think we can store this back here. There's room. All right, and the whole principle of this is we need to be able to hold this bowl to turn a new tenon on the back. Yeah. Out of frame for a second. So hopefully there's enough room. God, it's tight. I'm at the max width for the jaws. I thought we were going to be able to clear it. Well, back to the old drawing board. Let's move up another circle here. How's everyone doing? This won't take very long. Just got to redo everything we just did. The whole reason we have to redo it is this tenon was turned on this bull last February of like 2024, and it's so tiny, and I've updated my jaws since then, and I can't use small tenons like that. So I need to get rid of that tenon and turn a new one and reshape the bowl. I didn't really like the shape of the bowl anyways. This is the part of wood turning you never hear or never see. Not here. It's mundane. And it doesn't make it better that it's, say it's about 92 degrees in the shop right now. And I haven't gotten to add the back door yet. So we get no crossbreeze and we have no AC. And for your benefit, I mean, the dehumidifier just kicked on, but that won't run forever. I have the fan turned off. That way we don't have fan noise. So hopefully this will be a successful Thursday turning. If not, you guys get to see me fail dramatically and sweaty, which, as I always say, makes for great content. Nothing like watching somebody fail and be miserable while doing it. I'm not miserable yet, but if things keep going awry, I'm sure I will be miserable. All right, so we're back. We got the bowl, or the pieces moved. Now we can crank this down, and hopefully there's enough space. I don't think I've actually used this clamp in such a long, I think 2 years ago there was a video where I used it. There you go. I'll move over here. That way it'll show you guys what I'm doing and how we clamp this bowl down. So these little pegs grip it from the outside, adds enough tension to where I can remove this tenon, and starting from the base of that tenon, I'll cut a new tenon. We'll lose a little bit of height on the bowl, but nothing too crazy. And I also want to, I think I'm going to record any video. I can move that out of the way right now. I'm going to move you guys a little bit closer, and let's see how that performs once the stream catches up. I do have an iPad over here showing me what is going on. Let's see. Oh, much better. You guys will have a good view. All right. Also, have a new bowl gouge that I have stored over here on this table. It's got a big old handle on it. This is a Thompson Tools bowl gouge with a very long 20-inch handle. Not really needed on a bowl like this, but it's the handle I ordered with it, because I'm going to be getting some other gouges down the road. Probably not in the 3/8. This is a 3/8 nose. Probably get some other bigger handles also, but it sure does cut well. So yeah, let's get rid of this. I mean, plus this black walnut's pretty dry. Funny story. When I was looking for wood turning tools, one time I just typed into Google maps. I think it was like wood turning stores near me, and um, Thompson Tools came up within like a few miles of my house. Turns out they're out of the next town over here in Cleveland, so not too bad. Hey, I'm returning this bowl. Um, I started turning it over a year ago, and it's kind of just been sitting on the shelf. It was really wet when I first got the blank, but I've upgraded my uh, tools since then, and the tenon was way too small to go in the new chuck. So probably should actually mark that out. Where do I've been moving things around. I moved the magnetic bars down here, but I'm also storing things in these drawers back here. So I think we don't have to go that big. No, no one's moving the camera. It's actually I guess like an AI camera stand. It just tracks my face, so it just has facial tracking, so I can move over here and I'm still in frame. For woodworking, it's kind of crazy. It always wants to focus on your face, so I have to make sure that I have it set up to where you can see the product or project in frame as well. I'm just gonna score that out there. I'm pretty sure that would work. And then I'll throw these back in the box. Yeah, so sorry ahead of time if it gets nauseous or anything with me moving around. Just holler and I'll try to stop moving moving so much. And here we go. Let's get into this bowl. This is definitely an undersized gouge for this kind of bowl, for this size bowl. This is only a 3/8 cut. I should probably be using something a little bit bigger. I just haven't sharpened this guy in a while, and I wanted to use the Thompson, but we are redoing the shape of this, so maybe it is better we start off with the bigger gouge. There we go. Hopefully you guys are able to see this. We'll cut a new profile on here. The only bad part about using this holder is I'm limited to where I can cut with the tool. So I can only come up to the rubber feet here, and then I need to make sure that I have my line set after I cut the tenon, so that way we can flip it around and hold it from the tenon, and then finish turning the rest of the bowl. I don't want to hit any of that rubber. So let's get back into it. It's cutting pretty nice now. Feel free to ask any questions you might have. Oh, before I get too far along, usually somebody reminds me to put the face shield on. You always want to have protection. You never know when this thing could fly off, and this is at least one line of defense I have personally. And right about there is where we can stop. This gouge is sharper than I thought. That's kind of nice. All right, we really need to work on the foot. that's the big purpose of today, and my tool is over here. Will that hold in there? Perfect. I think it's having trouble tracking me with the hood up. All right. So we got probably need a little bit deeper. Just a hair deeper on that, and then we'll taper this in. It's going to be a flat bottom bowl when we're done with it here. So let's get this all squared away. Perfect. Ooh. So that was an Easy Tools carbide tool that we were using to do that. And what we're going to do now is switch over and cut. Yeah. Cut the angle that we need. Luckily, these carbide tools have a finishing point on some of them, and you can use that to cut an angle because the claws on the chuck have an angle to them, and we want as much surface contact as we can on this tenon. That way when we flip it around, we'll put more pressure on the bowl. We have a good bite. You can also use, do I have one around? That's a bowl gouge. You could use a parting tool. Here we go. You can also use a scraper like this and just come in at an angle. So actually, let's do that. Let's use the scraper. And what I'm doing, I'm just cutting an angle into this tenon. There we go. That might actually be a little bit too defined. But I'll take that over not having it. Put that back up here. Yeah. Let's go back to our bowl gauge here. So now we know this is going to be the bottom, right? We know this is going to be the base of the bowl. So now we can start redefining the shape of this bowl. Didn't really have a good shape before we started this today. It's more just turned a little round. But we'll try something fun. Maybe we'll put a little lip up here, which will be a little bit different for me because I'm not used to working with these rubber pieces in my way. But we will try. Nothing in life is easy, so I've come to find out. And we will just take shallow cuts. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Perfect. I don't want to lose too much there because we'll clean up the bottom of that bowl when we're done, but I do want to get back to this Thompson tool and just clean up a little bit with a shear cut. I'm just using the side of the gouge here. The trick I'm trying to master It's getting the tools to leave me a cut where I don't have to sand as much. Normally, on a bowl like this, when you're cutting the tenon side and the outside, we would do all of this and we'd sand it down and then put a little bit of finish on it before we flipped it over and did the inside. Since this bowl was already started, we kind of got to scrap that, get this section as close as possible before we flip it around and do this piece right here. I'm also limited. I might have to flip around sooner than later. So I have this metal plate sticking out here. Perfect. All right, let's work on this. All right, I kind of like that, but I got a little divot. All right. Whew. Well, that's not too shabby. We got some lines. We can clean that up. So the goal when we flip it around will be to shape up top here and to get this as close to polished as we can. Because when we're done, we'll have to flip it back around to cut off the foot. We just needed that foot space right now so we can finish turning it. All right. So I'm gonna come over here. You guys might follow me. Oh, there we go. Over here to the workbench. Take a sip of liquid. And bring over the chuck. It's the chuck we're going to be using. It's new to us this year. Hence why we have to do all this work. But it makes our lives much easier. So now we disconnect this guy. Put our bowl right here. This is what the inside looked like already. So hence why if you're starting a new bowl, we'd either use a worm screw or a face mount chuck or some other sort of thing to hold it on to start our project. Let's lock down. Yeah. Oh my God. Whew. That was really on there. And whoa. You always got to watch where it's going to fall. And we put it back up here on the wall. There we go. Not too shabby. I like being back to our new chuck. I'm a much bigger fan of it. I don't hate that chuck. That's from a company called Win. They make great affordable products. It's just not as wide or has as many accessories as this Nova line. So let's hope I didn't cut this too steep. I might have to. Of course I did. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I have done it on a stream? We can actually just replace the face plates Because I know replacing faceplates makes great content. Not really. But I'm sorry, it's just the maintenance part of being here on stream with me. Thank you, also. Feel free to ask questions. I'm here to answer anything I can. I will be the first person to tell you I am not the foremost expert on wood turning. There are much better people out there than me, but thank you for tuning into this stream. But I will try to answer questions where I can, if anybody has any. First question I'll ask you guys. How's the weather? Is it hot? I am sweating my butt off here. 4 and a 3. Oh. Don't want to lose the screws. This won't take too long, and hopefully this will give us... I will laugh and probably start a new project if these chucks if this chuck teeth doesn't match up on that tenon we turned, because it's my dumb fault that I didn't measure the max chuck teeth that were on there. All right, so I got a 4 there. I need to find the 4. Here it is. So I gotta. It took me a minute the other day, but on these chuck teeth, if you can see here, they have some dots, and you got to make sure all your dots are aligned together. So the first one I put on was a 4 and a 3, and this is a 1 and a 4. So the 2 4 sides need to match up, or else you won't have a perfect circle, or as close to a perfect circle as these chuck dolls are. It's actually kind of nice because I've been wanting to use or switch over to these teeth. I've just been trying to get through some old projects that had smaller tenons, but I've been wanting to turn bigger tenons, and this is a good start. All right, so this is 1 and 2. All right, here's 1 and 2. Yep, just making sure. Anybody else out there sweating? Just me? Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, one more to go. Not too bad. We just gotta transfer these teeth over to the workbench so they don't get lost in all the sawdust. Huzzah. When we do that, I'll take a drink again because I am parched. This word is not used too often anymore. All right. I'll say thank you, Nova, for making it easy for me to switch out teeth. All right, come on now. Are you kidding me? All right, we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna stop working on this bowl, and/or I'm trying to think of the best approach. Do you guys want to see a bowl, or do you want to see a spindle? Because best case scenario for a bowl We can continue working on this. We got to put that back, turn that down just a little bit. I don't really care what we do. I think I'm going to make it easier on myself. And just break all these free. Welcome to the woes of not preparing the stream, not preparing the wood. I do have... Okay, they're all broken free. I do have a few logs. No one seems to have an opinion, so I'm going to work on the bowl. You just get to watch me change the teeth back to exactly what I had. But like I was saying, I do have a few logs over here with some pretty fun grain patterns on them. I was hoping this bowl wouldn't take too long so we can get to it. I mean, look at if you're in the wood, that's a pretty nice looking cross section of the tree rings. That's the tightest tree rings I've seen on any log that I've had in the shop. Doesn't really look like much on camera. Maybe if you're on a big screen, this vertical orientation for videos isn't really the best to show high res. Hey, what do you guys use bowls for? I use it for my turning screws. Ha! This gives me a chance. Come over here. Get another sip of liquid. I'm so sweaty. So sweaty right now. That's going to be an ongoing theme. Sorry. We can also get this back down. Hello, sir. You can't fall. And we are free. Yeah. Let's put you back up here. Okay. And all right, so that's 4. This shows 4. So that's 3, 3. All right. Let's get these screws thrown back in here real fast, and we'll turn this foot down just a little bit so we can use these jaws. If you're wondering why the original foot was turned so small, that's the gripping strength of these jaws. So they were so small for that. That's why I'm trying not to use it, but I'm just stuck with projects that were started, and I need to finish them. Luckily, the large 12-inch Ambrosia Maple Bowl, which the video just came out last week, didn't need much of this moving around. I will say it was nice getting that video done and out. Doesn't feel good starting a project and then just sitting on it for a year while you can't do anything. All right, back to this guy. And all we're doing here, we're just going to turn this foot down a smidgen. And what we should have done in the first place is before we dismount it, we will mount the chuck, the other chuck, onto the bowl while it's mounted to this bowl. Who would have thought a concept like that could ever work. Now I sound like I'm working at an amusement park. All right, let's... We're really just taking this down just a little bit. We also want to make sure, I didn't do this before, that we don't have a protrusion out here. We want this foot to set in to the chuck. Let's take this guy. Put our tenon. Tell you what, I've used a few of these tools now. This is like a 1970s Delta Rockwell turning tool. I bought them off eBay. Fantastic little tools. Still sharp. Haven't sharpened them yet. Probably need to here shortly. But for being so old, I'm just shocked at how well they're holding up. Some of the bowl gouges, if you're not into turning, you might not get this, but that's a very steep angle. Let's see if the camera will focus on it. That's a very steep angle for a bowl gouge, so I might have to regrind a few and or just keep them like that for specialty tools. They just go up on the wall behind me. All right, back to the drawing board. Perfect. Oh, that's crooked as all get out. Swatching. Still a bit crooked. Now if I take this and put a centering, this might help a little bit. I say might. Could be completely wrong. Better than it was. We'll get her around. Boom. All right, back to this tool. Loosen up our grip. There we go. Try not to hurt myself. Always feel like I'm going to drop one of these on my foot or on my toes. You just never know when that's going to happen. All right. Okay. Let's see how decent we got it going here. Well, shoot, that ain't half bad. I'll take that any day of the week. Let's try to work on this outer edge here. Crank that. We're gonna crank that. Boop. I do love this giant handle. I'm just doing scraping cuts over here on the back because I kind of like the shape that we've got going on. It's not too bad. I just need to smooth it out some, but I kind of like how we're looking right now. Let's see if we can get this big old gouge, big old tiny gouge into this guy a little bit because our side wall here is ginormous. You guys might have a little hard time seeing this. So let me see if I can stop the motion tracking somehow. It's supposed to stop. Maybe it's just dirty. Maybe we need to reset it. Let's just turn it off for a minute and angle you guys so you can see what's going on inside the bowl. Let me make sure that's a good, decent view. You might need to be a little bit closer. Let's see here. Yeah, I think even more close. Then if we're having a hard time seeing what's going on, we got a light that we can throw there. Oh yeah, look at that. You guys can see everything. Whew. All right. I need to take a bathroom break. I'll be right back. Don't you guys go anywhere. Everyone still there? You guys forget about me? Get a drink refill while I'm at it. All right. Wow, still a few people here, even though I wasn't. Let's get this back on here. I guess we did drop down to 6. Oh well. So nature calls, you gotta run. And it's gonna call again too. All right, let's see how we make with a little bit of this. We need a gooseneck light. Woo! Can't really see over that edge. You know what's fun about streaming, because I get to watch that like 10 seconds later. I get to watch my own fails here. That's fantastic. So the thing about turning insides, especially on bowls like this, you gotta be able to see, because I'm looking at this side of the bowl from where I'm turning. I'm not looking where the tool is, so I'll see a line over here of where I've actually cut. So trying to make sure But that is a fun part. I mean, you don't really get to throw shavings like that very often. So we need to come in here more deeper, and we'll have to deal with this tear out here later on. But we're still pretty thick on this sidewall. So let's try to go straight down. I'm actually gonna throw my mask on. You guys can't see it, but I'm sitting in the thick of sawdust shavings, and listen, if anything sawdust wise is what gave me cancer, I want to avoid it as much as possible. see how we are. We're getting there. So I think on a bowl this small, definitely need a much shallower bowl width here. So I see I had marked it before. Let's get back to it. Bowl ain't gonna finish itself. All right, let's look where we're at. Okay. I like the thickness up here. It gives us a little bit of play on the outside. So I think we're done up top here. But this curve, we're still pretty thick there. We are still super thick. So let's see. Can I bring you guys in even a little closer? Let's see how that looks. Hopefully no one's getting seasick out there. Oh, did I flip? There you go. Let's see that now once it catches back up. Oh, perfect. Nice shot. Probably even raise you guys up just a smidgen. That way you're not looking at so much of the bottom of the lathe. Let's see where that puts us. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. It's like Picasso's in the room. Wood Picasso. So I'm just trying to hog out some of this material down here at the bottom. I actually really need a smaller. There we go. Switching up to a smaller tool rest. This other one was just getting in my way. There we go. Now we can get in there a little bit better. Yeah. got a little catch there. All right, let's see here. All right. Still a little wide. Still wide. Woo! I think we might have to end up sanding this a different day. All right, that's better there. A little bit more down on the bottom. Whew. Those little bowls give me a run. Oh yeah, feels much nicer. Still getting a little bit of tear out in there. Probably could do with a sharpening. But let's see. Let's see if we can turn the outside a little bit. Just want to see if I can get rid of these ridge lines. I'm just doing very light scraping passes. Does that help or worsen us out in here? Oh, that worked pretty well. Just for fun, I want to see. Things are about to get very dusty. I apologize in advance. 600. No. What do we have here? 150. I want to see what a 150 does to the outside of this bowl. I kind of like the shape. Everything's getting covered in dust. Ah. You guys holler if the dust gets too crazy that you can't see. So I don't know if I need to drop down. I got 180 grit. If I can start with a 150. Seemed pretty smooth to me. The inside's what's going to take forever. No, we're not too bad. I think maybe drop down to the 100. 100 might work a little bit better. There's just a couple lines remaining, I think, that are just getting by the 150. So, got some 100 over here. And they're mostly towards the base anyways, which is where we're having our issues. Hopefully the sound isn't too horrible. I know when I do videos and I look back at the sanding, I'm like, why did I even record me sanding? Oh yeah, there we go. I think it's always funny that you never see the cleanup of shop projects afterwards. It's just me collecting dust out here, really, for hours. All right, I like this. Let's go back to this 150 here. Oh yeah, we look much better. Oh, I like that. All right, let's go up to, let's jump up to our 220. And then we'll hit, we'll do like a 400 on the outside. I'm still gonna tweak the inside a little bit. But I think for the stream tonight, I've already been going over an hour because we had that snafu at the start of the stream. I might put a coat of poly on here just so you guys can see it pop on the outside. And then next stream, we'll finish the inside. I really got to figure out something for dust collection while I'm sanding on stream. because I normally would have it running. But I don't know. Maybe you guys out there, if the sanding sounds aren't too bad, maybe the dust collection wouldn't be either. Just kind of helps me out some. All right, 220 is done. Let's go over here and find a piece of 400. I know I cut some the other day. That's 6. There's 400. Gonna do the outside of the bowl to 400 and then throw some poly on. I thought I had, oh, the poly's already out. Good. So I guess it is almost 9 o'clock. And I have rebranding to work on. So I'll sand this to 400. I'll put a coat of poly on, let it dry. But then I'll usually hit it with another thing of 400 or even step it up a grade to 600. But I've been watching a lot of finishing on bowls. I might have to pick up some abrasive paste. That stuff's looking really good. Oh yeah, we're looking smooth. Let's see if any. I do see some tool marks in there, but let's see if they go away. Whew! I am getting the dust off of me. Okay, so let's, got this. Yeah, we've been streaming for a good 68 minutes. It's longer actually than I thought I was going to stream tonight. I need a screwdriver. I'm in a shop full of tools and I can't find a screwdriver. I take that back. I had one there and now it's gone. I'm in a shop full of tools. Alright, just gonna move this lathe tool down. Hopefully it doesn't fall. That would be the end of my night. For sure. Let's actually put it over here where it's safer. Okay. So my lathe's covered in sawdust and whatnot. But let's see how this thing works here. You guys ready to say ooh, nah, ooh, ah? Let's bring that over like that. Let's see. Camera catches up to me. All right, you guys. Ooh, look at that grain. That is some nice black walnut. I don't know if I said this at the beginning. This is a block of black walnut. Couldn't tell from the color. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that guy. Beautiful. And this is why black walnut is in such high demand. I mean, you just take a look at those rings right there. And that'll soak in and dry. I'll let it go probably overnight. And then come out here tomorrow during the day, sand it down, put another coat on, because it's just gonna soak up all that liquid. You can already tell up here it's starting to dry some. But yeah, this is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful little black walnut bowl. I like these bowls for snacks and stuff. I got one I made a year or two ago, and I use it for um, even like mixed nuts or anything that I just need a little snack for. So this one's gonna be great when it's done. Love it. Our tear out on the inside, it's just a little concerning, but we can handle that. All right. With that, I'm gonna call it quits for the night. Thanks everyone who stopped by the stream. I will catch you guys next time. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. We're always putting out content. We're back now to filming more regularly than we were. So we're probably going to do a lot more streams. We got some bottle openers to finish, some bowls to do. We got a whole rack of stuff that you can see on the other side of the lathe. Store is back open on Etsy. If you have any interest, you can find the links in the, just not in the description of this video, but in the description of the site on YouTube. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, let everyone know that we're here recording, and I will see you guys next time.